Hello everybody, hope we are all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Eurovision 2021. We have got semi-final running orders out, so we're going to be talking about those. Hope everybody is doing well. If you are watching live, hello, welcome. Hope everything goes okay. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday, Easter Sunday, if you're celebrating that. If you're just having a Sunday, just enjoy that. And if you're watching back, obviously, whatever time it is you're watching it, hello, hope you're having a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is. We have glorious British weather for the first time. That's not a sentence that many British people get to say, so hopefully that's okay. Gonna try and keep this short because of the glorious weather, because also it's quite warm in this room and I have to have the window shut and I can't have my fan on and things like that because noise. And if you do hear background noise, there are people just outside, all those kind of good things. Anyway, hope you're all doing well. As I mentioned, we have got Eurovision 2021 running order, which is very exciting. We have got, we're going to talk about those. A couple of other things obviously popping up here and there. We now know that there will be fans by the sounds of it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes ahead. The Dutch government are doing trial events and Eurovision is going to be them. So we're going to have, I think, 3,500 people at each show. So that'll be very exciting. Fingers crossed, everything stays good. I know lots of countries having more issues with COVID. So let's hope that it gets back under control and we can have that. Fans in the audience will be amazing if we can get that. Hello to everybody over in the chat. If you are watching live, do say hello over in the live chat. Let me know what your thoughts are about the running order or anything else. Let's just have a bit of a chat. So we've got those other things going on. Obviously, we've got like interviews, we've got pre-parties, lots of things going on in the world of Eurovision. It feels like. Thank you to everybody that watched previous video as well, previous live stream, the birthday one. That was a lot of fun. That was really, really good. So if you haven't watched that, watch those back. And obviously, I'm going to talk more about predictions more for Eurovision for the semi-finals and what my qualifiers I think will be, what I think the qualifiers will be. Obviously, I'll touch on some of that in this video, but I need to sort of have a bit of a deeper dive, I feel like, before I can go into that a bit more. So we'll see as we get along with those. Okay, hello to everybody saying hello in the chat. Thank you very much for... There you go. I ask people to say hello and they say hello. It's wonderful. The power. Anyway, let us move on quickly to the running order. And before I bring it up, let's just have a bit of a quick conversation about... just like the importance of the running order and whether or not it actually does matter. Like, does a good running order really mean anything? And I've done it before where I've, looked at stats and said, well, position X 87% of the time qualifies or whatever it might be. And obviously, there might be some better than others, but, we've seen before, just because you get position last in a running order does not guarantee you qualification. Latvia, 2017, Triana Park finished last, and we were all like, well, Latvia are definitely going to qualify now. Like, we thought they were a borderline, then we had them as a dead cert, and then all of a sudden, last place in the semi-final. So it's not guaranteed. I will say that there are definitely cases, I think, where an earlier running order has cost a song qualification, though, and that's particularly in the stronger semi-finals. So I would say Azerbaijan 2018, I think, cross my heart, would have qualified had it not opened the show. If it had been second half, if it had been even maybe a little bit later on in the running order, I think it would have qualified. Serbuk, Armenia 2019, I think that probably was a bit undone by an earlier running order. San Marino in 2014, Chrysalide, that was 2013, sorry, that was quite early on again. And then, so yeah, I think there's a lot of examples where maybe it's hurt a song. And then there are also ones where it kind of does help. Imre Ziv, I would say, he did perform last in his semi-final and qualified. He did very well. I think he finished third in the end in his semi-final and then had to open the show in the grand final. Laura Tesoro, it's all a bit up and down. And you have to remember that at the same time, the producers aren't doing this to harm a country. They're not doing it to try and cut people down in their prime. they're doing it to make a show. You need those ebb and flows. You don't want to have all your fast songs on in a row or all your slow songs on in a row. And obviously some of it is constrained by what your, like, which half they get drawn in. The second half of semi-final 2 this year, for example, very tonally different to the first half of it. And I'm sure the producers would have much rather had it if they'd been able to swap a song here and there around. And yeah, so I don't think that it's ever done to really harm a country. I will always say the odds do play a little bit of part in it, I think. And I think that does influence them a little bit, particularly with the grand final, though. It's never a surprise that a country that does well in the semi-final results and is doing well in the odds suddenly gets a really good, spot in the grand final running order. So that you do have to put that into account as well. But with the semi-finals, I think it's more about just crafting a good show. And I think that's particularly true this year because it's the first time we're going to have some songs for 2 years. It's the first Eurovision performance in 2 years. And that honour will go to, let us move over to, the running order. Here we go. So yeah, opening Eurovision 2021, the first song on stage, and I think it's a very clever decision to do this. It is The Roop. Lithuania are opening, and I think that's very smart, an entirely safe pair of hands. I think, hopefully, no matter what, you don't want to, you don't want to jeopardize a song's chances by putting it on first, particularly in this first semi-final, which we have said for time immemorial, it feels like, is such a tough one, and it is the hardest one, and there are going to be favourites that will not qualify. I think, actually, having The Roop on first, I think that will garner them enough goodwill that it might put off any potential, drop in how memorable they are by the end of this running order. And also, we know Discotheque is going to be memorable. We know that The Roop are able to put on a performance and people will remember them anyway. So I think of that list, I think they, other than Cyprus, I think it was probably the safest one. And Cyprus have opened quite recently. They opened semi-final 1 in 2019. So again, I don't think that the producers would necessarily want to keep putting the same songs in the same positions. Although Spain always seem to either open or close a show, it feels like. So after that, Slovenia again, and this is where you can start to see that sort of ups and downs, big noise versus not as much. So you've got Slovenia, which is big ballad, Amen, Anna Soklic, she will be able to do it. And then, you go into your Russias, your Swedens, your Australias. Now, that's an interesting group. I think Russia, I would say, Russia are not a guaranteed qualifier. And I think being on early may be a bit of a struggle for them. I wouldn't say the same about Sweden. And yeah, then you start to think, Ireland, I would say Ireland are in quite a nice place there. I think Ireland followed by Cyprus is quite, they're both relatively up-tempo-ish pop songs. I mean, they're different. Maps is more of the anthem, whereas Cyprus is much more pop banger kind of one. But that is quite a duo together. I think there's probably a commercial break somewhere in between those, though, which is maybe good for them. I don't know exactly if they've said where it will be. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's between them because, again, Maps leaves you out and Cyprus will grab people right back in. Australia, again, we've said Technicolor might need things going in its favour. It's not on first. I did think maybe they would put Australia on first because it is very loud and it would be quite a bold open return for Eurovision. I think, the three choices were Lithuania, Australia, and Ireland, and Cyprus, actually, so that's 4. So that's half of the field could have opened the show, I guess I'm saying. But yeah, I think that is a pretty interesting first half. I don't think it's helping Slovenia or North Macedonia, where they probably needed a bit more help. So that's unfortunate for those countries. On to the second half, opening with Norway. I feel like Tix is kind of running order proof in a way because he is so, again, larger than life look and vision for that performance with the wings. We don't know obviously how long it will take him to get on and off stage, but I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people saying, oh, it might be difficult for them to set him up with the wings and stuff. Bearing in mind, they were able to get Kate Miller-Heidke on and off very quickly and smoothly in Tel Aviv. So I think there won't be any such issue for Tix being able to be wheeled on or just something with the wings already attached. They will figure it out. And also, the people... If you've never been to Eurovision and you've never seen rehearsals or you've never seen like the switches between performances, just like it is the slickest operation. It's amazing to see some of those changes. And yeah, I always thought, I think it was it Mickey? It was either Kate into Mickey or Mickey into Kate in it was Luke. It was Switzerland into Kate Miller-Heidke, and yeah, just like. They were off, and then they had Kate ready to come on the wings, so they were ready. I don't think that'll be an issue for Norway. Croatia, Belgium, Israel, they're all on the fence anyway, it feels like. I feel like Belgium shouldn't be on the fence, but... Olivia has pointed out, yes, Cyprus were in the second half. So where Belarus have been taken out, that pushed Cyprus in. So that would explain it. So yeah, Cyprus technically are now in the first half, but there were 9 songs in the second and 7 in the first. Very good point. Yeah, that is something to remember. And obviously I think Armenia it were meant to be in semi-final 2 as well, so obviously that pulled things around there. They got lucky in a way that one semi-final 1 country and one semi-final 2 country went out, because it meant that the numbers were still kind of balanced. Like, we could have had one where in semi-final 1 you had only 5 countries not qualifying, and in semi-final 2 you could have had 8. That would have been quite a big chunk of difference, and I wonder whether there would have been complaints about that. Potentially, they might have. I don't think they would have. Maybe they would have drawn somebody from semi-final 1 into 2 instead, but that might have changed up a load of like printing and things that have been printed and stuff like that. Who knows? Yeah, Croatia, Belgium, Israel, I don't think it's helping or hurting any of them. Again, they're on the fence. It's going to come down to just like the night, I feel like, for them. And then, I think it's really good draws for Romania, Azerbaijan, Ukraine. Again, Ukraine were meant to close out semi-final 1 in 2020. That was meant to be the draw. And now they're like second to last, which is really good for them. But that is a lot of noise. Those last 3 songs, Azerbaijan, Mata Hari, into Shum, loud, into Malta, which is pop alert. That's 3 really big songs right at the end. And again, I don't really know how they could have shuffled it around that much more. Maybe switching Romania and Azerbaijan would have made sense. And I am a little surprised they put Malta on last. It feels almost like... I mean, look, we know at this point, Zhimakas is the favourite to win Eurovision. Malta is the favourite to win Eurovision. There is a lot of expectation around Malta. It's a little bit like with Fuego in semi-final 1 in 2018. Like, they knew that I was going to be special, I have a feeling. Like, they would have known what it would have looked like, what Cyprus's vision was for that. So I think that was probably why they were like, yeah, we're going to put that on last and we know that'll do well. And oh, it did. So again, there's a lot of expectation on Malta anyway. Putting it on last, the last one to rehearse on that second day of rehearsals, I'm guessing. That will be very interesting. And that it ramps up the pressure. But if they deliver it, you would have to think Malta is the favourite to win this semi-final. Based on the running order, you would hope that it's not like the flip around that they often do, where the song that closes the semi-final ends up opening the grand final. So if Malta does qualify, let's hope she draws second half, and that might avoid that, because again, Zhimakas could be a great opener, but it's a great closer. And again, that will keep Eurovision fans drawn in, I have a feeling. And if there is a lot of hype and press and publicity going into the contest, chances are it's probably going to be about Malta. So again, the producers will want to keep people invested till the end. So I think that is probably why Malta are drawn there. So yeah, again, we'll go more into who I think will qualify, but I think really good for Malta. I think it's really good for Lithuania as well, to be honest. And I would also say, somebody like an Ireland probably benefits quite nicely from this. Does it hurt anybody? Slovenia and maybe North Macedonia. And I don't think it's doing one of Azerbaijan or Ukraine any favours. Those next to each other, I really think doesn't do them favours. Maybe it'll be good for Romania. Again, a lot of people seem to be doubting whether Roxanne will qualify. I think against, in between all of those, it's going to be quite a nice change of pace, which sometimes works, or it'll mean you're overshadowed. I think Kami, for example, kind of got overshadowed a little bit from memory in 2018. We thought that might be okay where it was. It wasn't. But yeah, I think it's not the worst draw for somebody like a Romania. Let's move on to semi-final 2. Obviously, let me know as we go along, what your thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments if you think a certain country might be doing well out of this. A lot of people saying, Ireland 2015, Molly Sterling was hurt by being second in the running order. But then conversely, Bruno says Ireland 2018 was saved by the running order. Yeah, and I think there was a lot of hype around Ireland 2018 together towards the end because we thought, oh, maybe it has done really well. It qualified. We didn't expect it to. Could it have done very well? Turned out it didn't really. Manisha says her lucky number is 3. Well, let's hope. Let's hope that it is a good lucky number for Manisha because, yeah, Russian Woman, one of my favourites. If you didn't see the last video, I think it's number 6 or 7 in my top 39. So, yeah, definitely hope that makes it. Semi-final 2 opens up with San Marino. And I think, personally, that is the confirmation Flo Rida is not going to be there. Because the reason I say that, again, it's one or the other. It either means that they want people to tune in from the very beginning because Flo Rida's on and the producers know that he will be there, or it's get the disappointment out of the way early because he won't be there and we don't need to keep people drawn in till later. I mean, they could have drawn him in the the last one in the first half. The last performance in the first half could have been San Marino, and you get people waiting and watching to see the Flo Rida performance. I have a feeling that if he was going to be there, or literally physically be there, I think they would hold off on this one. I don't think they would put it on straight away. So maybe that is the final word and nail. I know he's saying, oh, he'll coming, but he really wants to come. I just feel like if it was actually going to happen, they would have said by now. But maybe San Marino are just playing us, and they're just going to drag it along as much as they can because it builds more intrigue. We will find out. Really unfortunate draw for Estonia. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of male ballads here, or male... Well, Portugal's not a male solo act, but, there's a lot of the guys here. And I think, Austria being on afterwards, maybe Poland, something like that. But, Georgia, Portugal, I feel like that helps them a lot more. And Estonia are particularly going to have a bit of a struggle here. So that could be really bad. Again, we second place isn't the death slot like it is in the grand final because there's less songs. But I feel like Slovenia and Estonia, both there, feel like they have been a little bit thrown away. But, if San Marino don't have Flo Rida, does Uku stand out? I think it is the best of the male ballads, probably. It's I think I ranked it the highest of them, and it's growing on me actually quite a bit. So we'll see. Czech Republic, Greece, Austria, Poland, that's... you don't really know in that group. I feel like Moldova, Iceland, Serbia, you would say... logically are 3 that are probably going to qualify. I feel like Iceland is a really one to slot in between Moldova and Serbia. I almost would have thought you'd want to space San Marino, Moldova, Serbia out more. I know Greece is also a female pop song. So again, they were very constrained. Like I said earlier, the producers were kind of a little bit screwed over just by where all these songs got drawn. So they really were going to struggle in terms of fitting them in better. But yeah, I feel like they could have done a lot better around that. We will see. We'll see, though. Again, staging, Olivia has said over in the chat, a lot of this might be explained by staging performances, and it definitely could be. So, yeah, and then there's such a huge tonal shift immediately from like, a lot of pop. Poland, Moldova, Iceland is a pop song at the end of the day. It's a bit more electro pop, but it's still pop. It's meant to get you up and dance. And Serbia, ramp change into Georgia, and then Albania as well right after it. I mean, Serbia to Georgia, I can't think of like a bigger shift in like genres and styles. Hurricane, Loco Loco, it's gonna be mad. It's gonna be a banger. And then into, let's just slow it right down into Tourniquet's charming little number. And charming, very like, it is what it is. I still haven't talked about Georgia. I probably will do the ones that I've missed in the middle of the week. But obviously that's a huge shift. So that will be interesting. I don't think it's really going to help Georgia too much. I have a feeling that after all that, Georgia's just going to be the breathing space until you get into an Albania, and then Portugal. That is a 3, and actually it's a 4. That's just very calm in a way. Obviously, calmer isn't like calm. It has the slightly rockier ballad moments, but I just feel like Georgia, Albania, Portugal, Bulgaria, I almost would have swapped Finland. It feels weird, right? Because you've got Finland and then Latvia next to each other. And again, like that's loud male rock and female like empowerment banger. I feel like they could have done something else there. Like swap something in between Portugal and Bulgaria, surely. But again, maybe... But I say maybe like the staging is going to make a difference. I can't imagine Georgia and Portugal are going to have a lot of staging. Albania probably is going to mostly what we saw in Festivali Congress with dancers. Maybe Bulgaria are going to do something really out there. Wouldn't surprise me. Are they going to do AR? Are they going to do holograms? Are they going to do something? And that will require a lot. Because again, Finland, Dark Side, we know it's just going to be pretty much the band performing. So... maybe Latvia has a lot, who knows? But I just feel like there's something feels weird in that second half. I think that they've not... I think, by and large, they have done a really good job with this running order. I just think that the start of that second half doesn't help any of those songs. Maybe Bulgaria a little bit. And I think Portugal, just by virtue of, other than Switzerland being like the last of the nice male songs, or male vocal-led songs... I think that helps Portugal quite a bit. Bulgaria into Finland, again, is another big shift. Switzerland, really, great spot for Switzerland. Again, it's very much like with Malta. They've put one of the favourites on right towards the end. I think, Switzerland, you would be shocked if that doesn't win the semi-final from here. But, Bulgaria, I think Bulgaria and Iceland are the other threats. And then Denmark... yeah, I like, Denmark is a grower. I know a lot of people really do love it. It's everybody's guilty pleasure, it feels like. And if it's your guilty pleasure, they're going to vote for it. And putting that on last just helps its chances even more. I would not be shocked to see Denmark in the final based on that. But at the same time, it could be a Triana Park moment where we assume that, oh, that's really helped them. Now they're going to have to, then it turns out it actually doesn't help them. And, having to follow Switzerland is going to be a really tall order. Again, Switzerland could have a huge amount of staging. We just don't really know. Or it could be John on his piano, and it'll just look like arcade, which is a potential worry. We saw that live performance and it was fine. I don't understand why it dropped so much in the order, in the odds. Because what did people really expect? Too much from a performance on a Spanish TV show? Spanish or Italian, one of the two, or French. It was a European country's TV show, late night TV show. What were people massively expecting from that performance? Anyway, yeah, that's I think Denmark are a winner from this. It would look like, and Estonia are probably the one that jump out as having a bit of trouble. And again, a lot of men in that first half, so were they trying to space those out? Maybe that explains it. I don't really know. But yeah, semi-final 2 feels like it was a bit messier to order than semi-final 1. I feel like the semi-final 1 was a bit clearer thought out. But, ultimately, it's all about a show. It is all going to be about, what does it look like in the actual running order when we see it. I mean, you never really know, from memory. You never really knew, how it really flow together until you saw the first dress rehearsal on the Monday of the semi-final, or the Wednesday, because you see the rehearsals live. And, you know, other than the fact that you're, like, in my case at least, like, you're also worrying about, like, interviews, got to record this, got to edit this, got to do this, press conferences going on. Like, you had a lot of other things to concentrate on. And there's often, like, you know, 10, 15-minute gaps between rehearsals. So you never really get the sense of, like, this is how it's all going to look together. And then when you got to the dress rehearsals and then the jury final, that was when you first really started to notice, oh, you know, this song really stands out, or this really helps. You know, you could argue that that was something with, like, Russia and North Macedonia. North Macedonia coming later and in its position really helped that against Russia in 2019, because they had very similar, like, motifs with their staging, with the reflections and things like that. You wouldn't necessarily pick up on it as much until you saw it literally in front of your face in a 1 hour gap whilst, you know, the actual show, the performances are being done in the show. And, you know, commercials, all these kind of things, that is really where you start to notice them. So as much as we can start to have an idea and predict things now, we need to wait until we get to the rehearsals. As we always say, rehearsals change everything. Let us move through this. Okay, so back to this. Couple of comments through as well. So yeah, Kirsty saying Angela has said she'll have no dancers on stage. So yeah, maybe Albania are going to do something a little bit more, if that is true. I think that they had plans to do a lot more. Obviously, you know, Festivali Kungus, you barely ever see a performance from Festivali Kungus replicated on stage at Eurovision, other than, like, Rona Nishliu, and even that was a bit of a glow up in terms of the look and everything that they had going for it. They often try and ramp things up. It is also Albania, you know, Ktheyu Tokas. They could have done more with that, but it worked for what it was. Do we know when rehearsals begin, Olivia asks. So, let me bring up my calendar. So, semi-final 1 will be the 18th of May, obviously. So, you're probably looking at the 8th or 9th of May, I think, will be when rehearsals start. Generally, I think it will be the 9th. It feels like they've started them on the Sundays more recently. And then that might have been because we had the day off in Israel, though, because of Remembrance Day. So I'm not 100% certain, but I would expect it one of the days the weekend of the 8th, 9th, and then into the 10th. But the actual, you know, first dress rehearsal is the 17th. You know, you've got first and second rehearsals, big 5 rehearsals, orange, red, whatever colour carpet they're going to call it this year, if they do a carpet. We'll see. And obviously with live on tape, you know, if somebody does have in quarantine and COVID, I don't know what they'll do if people can't rehearse. I guess there'll just be a gap in the rehearsal schedule. Maybe they'll just do press conferences and things like that. But hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, touch wood, everything like that. We won't have to worry about that. We won't have to see the live on tape until we get to the live on tape performance night, which sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a nice, like, ease out of Eurovision, you know, put off PED. We're going to be able to watch all the live on tape performances on the Saturday night. By the sounds of it, maybe it'll only be clips from them. Krista Siegfried's perfect choice as a host for some of these, like, extra web things. I think, you know, it's great to see. I think it's just great to see that they, you know, the Eurovision team are getting it a lot more and getting, like, you know, the people that we love, and, you know, they're doing the right things. It feels like the web team over the last year and a bit, it has really, really been great, and I think that they are doing a very good job. I love some of the artist profiles that they're doing. Yeah, just a lot of good work happening there. And obviously Krista's doing more with some of the backstage stuff. What was that? Switzerland is not like Arcade. I don't think his voice alone is enough to create an atmosphere. He needs good staging. Yeah, I think the high notes and things like that, I think there is enough atmosphere that can be built through Jean's vocal. But I think where people have seen the live performance we have seen so far, I think people are just making that Arcade comparison early. And obviously, you know, I don't think they're very similar. obviously, male performer who can play the piano conjures up a bit of a memory, but I think it's far enough removed. Arcade was 2 years ago, although it obviously now has new life. Duncan, performing in America and doing amazing things, great for him. You would worry that, unfortunately, for anybody trying to go for something like that, it suddenly made it more relevant again. I don't know. I think I can see. I don't think that the song is inspired or anything like that, and I think To l'Univers stands up by itself. Don't get me wrong, but I can see why some people might have that comparison going in their head. Well, let's have a look. If Destiny wins, she'll be close to matching Johnny Logan's record. Johnny Logan's record? In terms of... Oh, yeah, I suppose in terms of, winning Eurovisions, because she'll have won Junior and she'll have won Eurovision. So, yes, that is technically 2 Eurovision wins. Let's see. I mean, it is my favourite, as I have ranked it. It is currently my favourite. I just think, it is almost like the perfect rebirth of Eurovision to then have that. It feels like a really nice story, but I can see the story. Will the rest of Europe care about that story? Are Eurovision fans being tricked into an Alfred and a Maya situation where we just believe in the story and nobody else really seems to care? We'll see. Who do you think will win semi-final 1? I think it's Malta. That's my choice. But I will be doing proper prediction, qualifier, all that in the next couple of weeks, I guess. I mean, again, if rehearsals start in about a month's time, we're getting there, we're getting closer, so there isn't as much time to do all the live streams. We'll see. But yeah, we will see. If you are watching back, obviously, if you weren't able to ask a question in the live chat, leave a comment down below in the comments and I will try and get back to you. I'm not the best sometimes at replying. I need to just go through them all one day and just reply to a load of people. And by other questions, yeah, Sasha Jean-Baptiste is doing Albania. She's doing a lot of things, but that's Sasha. Sasha does a lot of performances every year. And will the running order have the same impact on juries and televoting? I feel like it slightly affects the televote a little bit more, but ultimately the juries are meant to watch the performances. They watch the jury final in one chunk unless people re-record. And I don't think that really... I don't think that it should be that different between the two of them. But, we've seen before, juries and televote can be wildly different. Who knows whether it's running order and things like that make an impact. I think you need sociological or psychological or something kind of study to actually do that. And I don't have the wits to do that, I guess. But I think logic would say maybe it's a televote a little bit more, because you are meant to, the juries rank them 1 through 17. They literally rank them like that. So maybe there's something different there, whereas with a televote, you're just primarily going to vote for one song, probably. So maybe there is something a little bit different in it there, perhaps. And what do you think about Malta and Switzerland having the same stage choreographer? I think it's Sasha Jean-Baptiste for both of them, or it's one of the well-known ones. Again, I don't think it'll really matter. She does so many different ones. She did quite a few in 2017, I want to say, and there was never I don't think there's a conflict of interest. Ultimately, she's going to want to put on the best performance with both of them because she will want to win. I don't think Sasha Jean-Baptiste has ever won Eurovision, which is weird because we always tout her as an amazing stage artist, and she has done great shows. Obviously, Beautiful Mess was amazing, was very, very well staged, but she's never won yet. So she's going to want to, she's got her eggs in the 2 best baskets, and she's going to want to do as much as she can to make sure at least one of them wins. And it's better to have both of them in the best place possible rather than only one of them, to try and drag one down. So, she knows what she's doing. The delegations obviously will have ideas and creative thoughts too. It's not like Sasha is just going to come up with the entire concept, but yeah, we will see. Anyway, right, if you do have more comments, as I say, do let them know down in the comments section. If you are watching back, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everybody who has watched live. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the things that YouTubers ask you to do and that probably do it a lot more efficiently than I do. But again, thank you everybody who has been watching. And as always, do stay safe, look after yourselves, be healthy, be good. Remember, it's just a song contest. It's just a bit of fun. Let's not take it too seriously. And more than anything, I will see you all soon. I will do a live stream in the middle of the week and cover off the remaining songs. And I will see you all soon. Catch you later, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.